Hi everyone. So today is day 5 of the Share the Gospel Challenge for the month of August, and today I was feeling a little bit just kind of hesitant or pushed back. I just got back from my walk, but as I was going or walking, I was thinking like, God, I'm not feeling, motivated or confident or bold. I'm just feeling like taking a walk. But there was someone who was stopped, like on the walking path I have, there's some outlets, little places for people to stop, and someone was stopped and stretching, and I felt like God said, go walk up to that person. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I started pulling out a tract and going to give it to him. And as I'm walking up, the guy says, you look like a Christian. And I said, I am a Christian. And he said, I am too. I'm born again. And he said, where do you fellowship? And I shared, we fellowship at the park. And where do you fellowship? And he shared with me a Baptist church that's nearby. And so we were talking, and I shared about our ministry and what we do. And at the end, just about to break, I said, is there anything you need prayer for? He said, no, not really. Is there anything you need prayer for? I said that I would share the gospel with all the right people this month as I do this challenge, that God would lead me and guide me. And so then a woman rides up on her bike and sits down and stops. And he says, oh, here's someone, you can share with. And I thought he knew the woman. So I was like waiting for him to introduce me. I'm like, is this your wife? Is this your friend? But I didn't say any of that. And he didn't say anything. And he's like, I'm just stretching. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to keep walking. It was nice meeting you. And I felt a little bit like I missed it. Like God was saying, you could have just broken through the awkwardness and been like, do you know each other? Because that's what I wanted to ask, but I didn't ask it. I hesitated, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go now. So I felt a little, like, God, I think I missed it. Like I could have shared with that woman and maybe brought the man in on it to join or something, but I didn't. So I kept walking, and as I was walking, I was just praying like, Lord, redeem the walk. Please redeem it and lead me to the right person. Lead me to the right person to share with. And there wasn't anyone to share the whole walk, so I walked back and went to that same spot where I was at, and I just felt like I should sit there and pray. And I was like, Lord, bring me someone, to talk to here. But I ended up leaving. There was no one. I ended up leaving a tract there, and hopefully the right person will find it. I prayed that the right person would find it. And so then I went to a different part of the park that is near our home, and there's a duck pond, and I was looking for someone to talk to around the duck pond, because people sit and watch. There's turtles and ducks and fish, so they sit on the benches or sit around and watch. So I looked, and there was like 3 different groups. There was a couple, and then a guy, and then a girl and her dog, or a woman and her dog. And I thought, okay, Lord, I don't feel like approaching any of these people. I had the thought maybe I should go back and sit where I was sitting before and wait for someone, but I didn't. I said, okay, God, I'm going to go talk to the girl with her dog. She seems, approachable. The other people seem engaged. So I went over and I said, oh, I'm sharing a quote of the day with people today, and then asking them what they think it means. And she said, okay. And I said, okay, the quote of the day is, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. What do you think that means? And she said that, God gave his son, Jesus gave his all. He went to hell and back so that we could be reincarnated and come back and have, like, if we do good and spread kindness, we can be reincarnated and have a better life. And I said, Jesus did suffer for us and die for us, but it's not so we could be reincarnated. And I shared the gospel with her, that we're all in debt to God. And I said, have you ever sinned? And she said, yeah, we've all sinned. I was like, yeah, we have all sinned. And God is angry about sin. He must punish sin. For God to truly be good and loving, he has to punish wrongdoing or sin. If you love someone and someone's hurting them, you can't just let them keep being hurt. You have to say, no, that's wrong. And I said, when we sin, we hurt each other, and God says that's not okay. You can't treat each other like that. So he's angry about sin, and he has to punish sin and judge sin. So what happened is he sent Jesus, who was fully God and fully man. He lived a perfect sinless life, and he died taking the punishment or the penalty that you and I deserve for our sin. What you earn for your sin is death. What I earn is death. And Jesus died taking the penalty for our sin. That if we believe in him, we'll have eternal life and be forgiven. And so I shared with her, and I asked her some other questions. But she said, where do you have a church? Where do you fellowship? Or she didn't say that. I say that. She says, where do you go to church? And I shared about Church in the Park. She's like, I want to come to that. That's great. And I said, God doesn't give us, like, we have to believe in Jesus. We have to turn from our sin, that God will help us if we turn from our sin and not continue in it, not continue to be in control. But I traded numbers with her, and she said she wants to come to church, and I shared a video with her, Eric Luddy's The Gospel. It's an 11-minute short video about the gospel. She looked it up right then and said, I'm going to watch it right now. I asked her if she had a Bible. She said yes, she does, in her car. I said, you should read the book of John. And she goes, the book of John, text me that so that I remember. And so I texted it to her, and she seemed really excited about everything and about what I shared. But somewhere I was wondering, God, is this real excitement, or is this just, kind of the devil messing with me? Because Satan can come and deceive you into thinking that you're someone's really responding, and then later on they never really respond. It's just in the moment. So I'm really praying, like, God, I pray this is sincere. She's a little bit in a rough spot, doesn't have a place to live, just moved out of her boyfriend's house, who's addicted to pills. She was vaping while I was there, so she definitely is living a rougher kind of life, needs a job, hasn't, just moved here, doesn't really have anything established here in Tucson. So her name's Angela. Pray for Angela if you watch this. But I think, the theme of today, or this morning, because I haven't gone through the whole day yet, but it's perseverance. God's saying just persevere. It doesn't matter what you feel like sharing the gospel. You just do what I tell you to do. You persevere, you obey. And even while I was walking last night, we were talking about this Share the Gospel challenge, and how when we don't share the gospel, the devil's trying to rob us of our blessing, because when we share the gospel, we feel so blessed by God and so close to him. And so as I was walking, I was thinking, Satan, you're not going to rob me of my blessing. I'm going to share the gospel. You don't get to rob me of my blessing. So I pray that this encourages you. I pray that you get out there and share the gospel no matter how you feel, because the truth is, people have not heard that Jesus Christ died for sin. Not just that he was a sacrifice, but that he died taking the punishment and the penalty for sin. People have not heard that. Go out and share it today. I pray that you all have a blessed and a beautiful day, a day filled with God's beauty. Bye.